Hello everyone, and welcome to our presentation titled New Cranial and Dental Material of the Villafranchian bear Ursus etruscus from Sesklo, Greece. First, let's take a look at the locality. Sesklo is located in Europe, in particular in Greece, as you can see here. The locality is located in a clay quarry for the local cement industry. This is a satellite image of the quarry, where the various find sites of the locality are pictured, with their respective year of discovery in parentheses. The oldest find spot is find spot Alpha, discovered in 1971, while the youngest is find spot SC4, discovered in 2014. All are located in clay sediments. However, the find spot Alpha, Gamma, and SC2 are characterized by dark-colored clays, while the rest by red clays. The difference in sedimentation, in addition to the 11-degree tilt of the sediments and by chronological dating, led to the division of the locality in two stratigraphic levels. The lower level dated to the biozone Mn16 and the upper level dating to the biozone Mnq17. The lower level sites are defined as Hipparion bearing due to the presence of Plesiohipparion rossinanthus, while the upper level sites are defined as Equus bearing due to the presence of Equus stenois. The fossils of the upper level are found in red clays as pictured here and mentioned. Now let's take a look at the faunal composition of the respective levels. The lower level is characterized by a handful of species in comparison to the upper level, which is more diverse in species and has borne many more specimens. The two levels are differentiated mainly from the presence of the two equids, respectively. However, there are other defining species as well. For the lower level, these are Anangus arvernensis, the ostrich Struthio chersonesis, and Sus arvernensis. For the upper, they are Mammuthus meridionalis, the giraffid Paleotropus inexpectatus, three species of deer, Sus trochei, various species of carnivores that also include new specimens of the ursid Ursus etruscus. These specimens consist of isolated teeth like a right lower molar and a left upper canine pictured here. They also consist of various fragmentary remains, such as a right mandibular fragment retaining the third, second, and first molar, as well as the canine, a left maxillary fragment retaining the canine and the first premolar, a distal fragment of a right humerus, and finally a right maxillary fragment retaining the canine and the third incisor, and a right mandibular fragment bearing the premolars 3 to 1. Undoubtedly, the most important specimen of the Sesklo bear discovered is a partial cranium, which retains the molars 1 and 2, as well as the fourth premolar. It is well preserved, though highly fragmented due to lateral stresses from the sediments it was buried in, and it lacks the occiput as well as the zygomatic arches and the prostheon. However, most of its other parts, such as the nasal bones, are complete. It is relatively small in size, being roughly 25 centimeters in length. In order to study the skull more efficiently, we constructed a 3D model of it using photogrammetry. For the comparison of the material to specimens of other ursids, several measurements were taken, including dental measurements, according to van Valkenburg and Kopfli, 1993, and van Valkenburg-Sacco and Wanke, 2003, as you can see on the left, and cranial measurements according to Matza and Roussiakis in 1992, as you can see on the right. The cranial measurements were not used in comparisons with other ursids due to the absence of measurements relating to breadth, as well as the exact total length. The study of the specimens included the calculation of various biometric parameters. First, we estimated the age of the individuals. associated with the specimens that retain the molars and the fourth premolar, as they are the only specimens suitable for age determination. In order to estimate the age, we use Steiner's method of tooth eruption wear stages for upper and lower cheek teeth of cave and brown bears. The comparison showed that the individual associated with the right mandibular fragment was a juvenile, as its wear corresponds to stage 3. Similarly, the individual associated with the isolate M1 was found to be a prime adult, corresponding with stage 6, while the individual associated with the cranium was in the transition from adulthood towards old age, corresponding to stage 7. Now for the rest of the biometric parameters, these are species, sex, and body mass determination. In particular, the body mass of the individual associated with the cranium was calculated at 153 to 162 kilograms using the regression equation for body mass by Figueiredo et al. 2010, as you can see in the top right corner. The body mass of the individual associated with the isolate first molar, as well as that of the individual associated with the right mandibular fragment, was calculated at 86 kilograms using van Valkenburg's regression equation for body mass, as you can see in the bottom right corner. Additionally, the sex of the individual associated with the cranium was defined as female, owing to its small size and absence of features like a strong sagittal crest and characteristic step of the frontal bone seen in males. All specimens were assigned to the species Ursus etruscus due to dental features like the presence of all premolars with wide diastemas between them, the elongated second upper molars, the small body size, and due to chronological and biostratigraphical constraints. Material was compared to specimens of other European Ursus etruscus from Villafranchian localities ranging from France and Italy to Greece, as well as to material from younger species of the genus Ursus. Dental measurements of length in relation to breadth were plotted in scatter diagrams that showed that the Sesklo bear falls clearly in the range of variation for Ursus etruscus, while it exhibits affinity to the morphotype of Ursus etruscus from Saint-Vallier, as indicated by the lower and upper first molar plots. To conclude, the Sesklo bear is represented by fragmentary cranial, dental, and postcranial material and a partially preserved cranium. All the material is referred to the species Ursus etruscus. The material represents juvenile, middle-aged, and old individuals. The body mass of the individual associated with the cranium was calculated at 153 to 162 kilograms, while that of the associated with the isolated molar at 86 kilograms. The individual associated with the cranium was determined to be a female, and the Sesklo bear presents plesiomorphic features that place it closer to the Saint-Vallier morphotype. These are our references. Thank you for your attention.